So there's this girl I went to high school with, and we're cool, she's great. And recently she posted on Instagram, and she posted this picture of, her and her boyfriend at Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. Is that what it is on earth? I wonder, when Elon goes to Mars and takes us there, do you think there's going to be a Disneyland there and then they're going to have to like change their advertising? Actually, do you think Disneyland will change their advertising and they're going to be like, well, now this is the happiest place in the galaxy, in the universe? Because then, what if, or do you think they'll like keep it just inside their own planet? Like on Mars, they'll be like, well, this is the best one here. Like the Disneyland on Mars, that's going to be the best Disneyland, the happiest place on Earth. Oh, it's the happiest place on Earth, isn't it? So do you think, yeah, wait, when we go to Mars and Elon, wants to get the big mouse involved, do you think, actually, you know what? I bet when we go to Mars, that's when they're going to unfreeze Walt Disney's head. He's going to go over there, erect the happiest place on Mars, and then boom. He's diversified his lands. He's got the happiest lands on each planet. Wow. Oh my God. Walt, congrats, man. This is so cool. You have so much to look forward to. I mean, you can't hear me right now because your head is frozen underneath Disneyland. But hey, man, I mean, when you get unlocked, unfrozen, uncryogenically opened up to the world, hey, man, congrats. Anyways, this girl I went to high school with recently, went to Disneyland with her boyfriend, and she posted about it, and it was them, smiling, the classic picture in front of the castle, with a bunch of people like in the background. But then they're they're the forefront, they're the subject. That's how they wanted to take the picture. Sometimes people take the picture, and then you're like, wait, who's in? Like, you don't check the name of the account you're following. You just look at the picture, and you're like, wait, who is this? Because they just kind of blend in with everyone else. They didn't do a good job of separating the foreground and the background, so it's just kind of a group of people and then the Disney castle. But they did a good job. They're in the forefront, and I'm like, I know who this is. She's great. And she put the caption on this picture that said, Did I have a temper tantrum to get him to take these pictures? Maybe. Was it worth it? 100%. Yes. And I don't know, maybe this is when I fully realized, I don't know if it's that I'm not an optimistic person, but I read that and I was like, why didn't you guys break up? That was my first thought, because that just seems miserable. That every time, like, she wants to do something that he doesn't want to do, she has to throw a temper tantrum. That sounds they break up, Like, but then I've noticed this, like, with certain relationships, there's a point when, like, these weird things become quirky. Like, they cross over from an annoyance to, like, that's just how he is, And I don't think it should be that way. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe I just have different expectations, but I'm like, if, someone's like that, just maybe walk away, That just seems weird to be like, oh, come on, babe, let's take a photo. And he's like, no. And she's like, I'm going to do it. He's like, don't do it. And then she starts stomping the ground. She's like, oh, I want to take a photo. And he's like, fine. God damn it. I wasn't going to do it, but then you had a temper tantrum. So fine, let's take this fucking photo. And goes, smiles, But it just seems weird that you have to get to that place. Like, that's the compromise in the relationship. Better do what we want to do, I want to see this movie, but I don't. I'm going to start screaming. Okay, fine, we'll see the movie. I'm like, wait, you guys probably call it now. But then if you look at that, it makes sense in the context of a relationship, right? Like when you hear a couple do that, you're like, couples, But if you were to do that shit, on like an early date, the person would easily be like, oh, fuck you. Like imagine you went on a date with someone, they're like, oh, let's take a photo. And then the person was like, no, I don't think so. There wouldn't be a second date. But if you're in a relationship and they do that, they're like, oh, that's just what he does. That's just, how quirky is he, huh? Because he's so difficult. He was actually nice this time. Usually he tells me to, usually when I'm like, can we take a photo? Usually he tells me to go fuck myself. But he was nice. He just said no this time. And then usually, when he tells me to go fuck myself, he gets mad at me because he tells me, I should be the only one fucking you. And then I have to explain to him, me fucking myself, that's not really cheating, you know. So then we have to work through that argument. Just my life, huh? Relationships. Ugh. The push and pull of the whole thing, right? Compromises. No. Fucking eject. Press eject, get out of that shit, okay? Find a different jet to fly, because that one's going straight into a fucking mountain. I'm actually... Okay, let's chill out. I'm rooting for them, okay? I hope they break up. No, you thought I wanted them to stay together? No, I hope they break up. Because I don't think you should continue in something like that. That sounds fucking exhausting. Hey, can we do this? I don't want to. Cool. Awesome. I'm glad I picked you as a life partner. This is dope. This is awesome. This is great. Like, that shit wouldn't fly if you guys just met. That's the thing. In a relationship, once again, in that context, it like makes complete sense, which is very weird. But like, I wouldn't even be friends with that person. Like, if I was like, let's do this thing, like, no. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're not friends, you know? Like, let's take a photo. No, I'm good. Okay. I don't know why we're friends. But like in a relationship, you're like, that's why I love him. What? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not in a relationship. It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's that. Maybe I have to do a case study. Maybe I have to get in a relationship and then be just a stick in the mud. And then maybe I'll get it. I'll be like, oh, this is how this is supposed to work. I should suck. And that makes for a good relationship. I don't know. I saw that. And the first thought, that came in my head was like, ugh, get out of there. Either one of you. Like, I think they're both at fault, The one is at fault for, like, having a temper tantrum. I know it's hyperbolic. Obviously, there wasn't a temper tantrum, but there was a conversation. That's the cool thing about humor. There is, like, this thread of reality woven into it. You just gotta find it. So that's the thing. She probably didn't have a temper tantrum, right? There wasn't a stomping on the ground, and screaming. But there was a conversation. She was like, let's take a photo. He was like, I'd rather not. She's like, then what? Well, come on. Our parents are going to want to see this. And he's like, ugh. My parents don't talk to me. And she's like, yeah, I know, but my parents want to see this. And he's like, but why do I care about your parents? And she's like, well, they're your in-laws, or maybe they will be, Time's ticking. Maybe get that unlock. And he's like, I'm still searching for a job. She's like, yeah, but you have money. I've seen your bank account. Just fucking lock me down. Okay. I love you so much because we don't take pictures together. Okay. Just pop the question. But he's like, I don't want to take a photo. She's like, come on, my parents are going to want to see it. And he's like, fine. And that's probably what happened. I doubt she was like, no, take a photo with me. Like a child throwing temper tantrum. But there was definitely a conversation. And I'm like, if that conversation needs to happen, I think you should probably have the conversation about maybe not being in that relationship. I don't know. Maybe I'm the oddball. Once again, I don't have data of my own. Haven't been in a relationship. Maybe this shit's normal. So I'm sorry that I'm speaking from a place of ignorance. But, I know I should know my place. I should back off, They know what they're doing. That's like, when people yell at LeBron, like, come on, LeBron, make that layup. It's like, well, you don't. I mean, I've seen you at, Gold's Gym or whatever. No, they don't have a basketball court, right? I've seen you at California Family Fitness. I've seen you at CalFit. You run down the court in one time and you're fucking winded. So don't tell LeBron, come on, LeBron, make a layup. The same way, I shouldn't be yelling at the LeBron of relationships over here, Because I don't really know the hard work it takes, Me and the spectator, we see a missed layup. We see a temper tantrum, but we don't actually see the hard work that goes into that, So I apologize. But I'm rooting for him. Dude, disband the team. But I'm rooting for him nonetheless. If you just stop it there, it sounds good. So, anyways, hello. I haven't done this podcast in a while. It feels weird even. I haven't even really recorded a video. I don't remember the last time I did record a video. It was probably in the first week or two of the quarter. Maybe like week 4 actually, which was my most recent main channel video, like where I read the confessions. But yeah, no, I haven't like been in front of a mic since like right before Thanksgiving. So that's like what, almost 3 weeks now. Like, what have I been doing? Why have I been so busy? And I'll tell you. Well, Thanksgiving happened, obviously, and then Black Friday happened, and I got my booster shot. That's right. And Thanksgiving, that's week 9 of school. So you got week 9, 10, and then finals, right? That's how it works. Week 11, that's finals week. Well, I go home, and let me tell you what, I go home to get the booster shot, and I see crossing the street this dad and his son. The son looks like he's somewhere in his 20s. His dad, he looks like he has a 27-year-old son or whatever. I see them, it's very cold, so they're very red, and they're running across the street. Actually, not running, but jogging. And I looked at them and I was like, yeah, shut up. You know? Because the day before was Thanksgiving, it was decently early. I think it was like 10 a.m. or something, and they were running outside. I was like, all right, shut up. And you're like, well, they weren't saying anything. But yes, they were. I know they weren't saying anything verbally, but they were sending a message. Them running in public, that's sending a message. And to that message, I say, yeah, shut up. Okay, just be quiet. Because they're like, look at us. Look, even after Turkey Day, we're getting out there and we're working it off. I'm like, all right, man, easy, okay? I bet they even own a treadmill or like a Peloton in their house, but they're like, let's go. They're exhibitionists, they're like, let's show the world that we're this good. And so they run, out in the cold, and they're very tight Under Armour shirts that are like a light blue color, and then they're like silver basketball shorts, and then they're no-show socks and their ASIC shoes. Huffing and puffing. You can see the breath in front of them. And I'm like, yeah, shut up. Shut up with that. All right. You think you're better than me? No. Well, yeah, I mean, yes, in this arena, sure, maybe you are. But that doesn't speak on our character, okay? If we looked at our character, you would see that you would have me beat despite the running, okay? I'm worse than you, not because I don't run, but for so many other reasons, okay? So don't think this is the deciding factor, okay? I suck regardless. And I didn't like that. I don't like people that it had the same. I don't know. It was even more insulting than a turkey trot energy. A turkey trot is nice because it can be a community thing. You can go for the social aspect. But if you run around to town the day after Thanksgiving, oh fuck you. I don't like what you're putting out in the world. Okay, this productive energy, not my thing. Not my thing. But I go to get a booster, and it's interesting. The Cocoa booster, the Cocoa Boo. And I got it in like what was it, a Safeway? A Raley's? I don't know. It was a grocery store. And they just have walk-in appointments or whatever. But I had scheduled it like a week prior. And it was so interesting because, when you get it, they're like, okay, so stick around for 15 minutes. And they have the chair set up at the end of like the aisles there. And it was just weird sitting there. And on my left was like cupcakes, and on my right was Fig Newtons. Like I just got a shot, like a medical. I know this is a little extreme to call it this, but yeah, there was just a medical procedure. There was a penetration. A vaccination went inside of my biological system, and then there I am waiting for it to hit me, next to some cupcakes and some Fig Newtons. It felt weird. It didn't feel weird. It was very, I've never had that. It was a new experience. Be optimistic, It was a new experience, and I'm glad I had it. And I also got cupcakes on the way out, Actually, you know what? I bet that's why they do it at these places. They have a deal. It's like, when you go buy stuff at any store, and by the cash register, they have candy and like mints and gum and all that. Those candies and mints, they have the deal with the grocery stores. They're like, put this shit there, because then people will, impulse buy. The same way, these vaccines, they put them, the waiting area right next to the cupcakes, because the grocery store was like, do it there, because then they'll buy cupcakes. You sit someone next to cupcakes for 15 minutes, you don't think they're gonna buy them? That's easy. That's easy mode right there. Yeah, that's easy. Advertising, marketing. Ooh. Cupcake sales went through the roof. Now you might be thinking, Garb, well, that just is the pharmacy's probably just right next to cupcakes. Yeah, okay, sure. That's probably what's happening. But for, humor's sake, I'm going to say that the grocery store has a cupcake conspiracy. The old CC, they call it? The Cup Con. The Cup Con, now that's That's an interesting convention. They have just red Solo cups. They have, stuff for these cups, and then they got baseball players there too. The Cup Con, it's a fun place. I love going every year. Well, not the past 2 years because the Coco, but now I got the Coco Boo, so I'm good to go. But yeah, I was up to that, and then I was gonna record an episode. I even brought my camera with me and stuff. But then I was just I spent that weekend recovering or whatever, and I had so much other stuff to do to prepare for finals. I was like, let's not, let's. Sometimes in life, you gotta look at priorities in your head and be like, well, should I waste the limited energy I now have on studying for finals, which are a decently big deal, or should I record this? And I was like, okay. I understand what I should do. The call was easy when you put it like that. Now, could I have recorded the podcast earlier knowing that I was going to get sick, or have that reaction to the vaccine? Of course. Did I do that? No, of course not. And then the following week, I did, I just, with finals, I didn't want to mess with that. It'd be so silly. I had finals on Monday and Tuesday. And so I was like, just spend a weekend doing that. Don't do this. So, what's my excuse for last weekend though? Oh, actually, no. Oh, it's this weekend. So no, I don't have an excuse. Now I'm back. I'm back. That's right. It's good to be back. Yeah, it's weird. Actually, this week I kind of missed it, which is I know it's weird, right? I was like, oh, I kind of want to talk about nothing. No, I just needed to put that girl from my high school on blast. That was all. That was all that I wanted to do. And I did it. So really, I could just end it right here. But no, what should we talk about? We should talk about, I just took my last finals, or last fall quarter finals. That's my last fall quarter. I'm never going to do that shit again. Isn't that weird? I also had another weird feeling. One of my classes this quarter was a math class. And, well, I don't know if it was exactly a math class, but it was heavy into doing math. And I remember I wrote down, as I was practicing for the final, I wrote down this equation. It's this ugly equation. It's a fraction, and you got these two parts that are multiplying each other. It's like what do you call it? I don't know what you call it, but it's when you got x squared. I don't even know what these are called, but you got x squared, and then x, and then you got some constant. And you can use the quadratic formula to find roots or whatever, and you can factor out if it's easy enough. It was like that, but it was the constant z to the -1, z to the -2. So you got that there, you multiply them, and then you got same thing on the bottom. I was writing that and factoring out the whole thing. And as I was doing it, I was like, wait a minute. Realistically, this is the last time I'll ever need to do this. I won't do this again for a very long time. I mean, maybe during the final, sure. Spoiler alert, sorry. I didn't have to. But, I wrote it, I was writing it there and it hit me. I was like, oh, this is the last time I'll ever have to, do this complex of math. You get the J's. They were complex equations too. They had J's in them, imaginary numbers. And I was multiplying J by J. I was like, -1. And I was like, man, this is the last time I really have to think about this because this shit doesn't really come back ever. I mean, maybe if I am helping someone do school, I might have to look at it again. But I was like, wow, this is this routine thing that I've been doing for so long. Complex numbers. They introduced that shit into in middle school, right? Late middle school, maybe early high school. So we'll be conservative. We'll say, I've been looking at this shit for the past 8 years. And now I'll just have to never do it again. That's the thing with engineering. There's always math you're doing. That's something you hear. That throughout all of engineering school, you're always doing math. And that was the case for me with the classes I took. And yeah, now the only math I have to do is, quick math. Where it's you get a bill and you're like, how much should we tip? And then you got to do, 15 or 20. And then you end up doing 20. Not because you like them, just because the math is easier. It's 1/5. That's it. So yeah, but besides that, you don't really use math, do you? And so that was interesting to me. Just that, that's the last time that I'll do that, right? Another interesting thing is like you see people they're graduating. Yeah, they have the winter graduation ceremony, and then you have the spring graduation ceremony, and it happens every year. Well, now the past year, but those people finally got their graduation, the 2020 graduates. But now I'm seeing like the classes after it, like the class um, I was in. Well, they graduated last year, but now I'm seeing people that are like younger than me graduate. I'm like, oh my god, like it's weird. It doesn't feel like really much when like your contemporaries, the people that are like adjacent to you, right on the sides of you, the same class as you. It doesn't feel weird when they graduate, but then when you start seeing people younger than you graduate, you're like, wait a minute. I know it felt weird. There was this girl I went to high school with. She was a year younger than me. She went to Cal Poly, and I remember last year she like announced she graduated, like a double major or whatever. I was like, oh my god. And yeah, she did a double major in 3 years. And that one kind of was like weird to me because I was like, hey, now, don't, don't cut in line. Okay. I got in line first. Okay. Just wait your time, wait your turn. And this is a 15 or less items line. Okay. 15 items or less. You're coming in here with like fucking 40 items. Shit. Go somewhere else. But no, she just cut me with her 40 items. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, but no, now I'm kind of like stuck. My credit card keeps getting declined, and people are just kind of like moving around me, and people are helping them. I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting passed on in this thing called life. No, that's the shitty part, Society, they've set up they set up this norm, right? They've set up this McDonald about like graduating in 4 years, and so if you don't, you take longer, you feel like a loser. But I don't. I feel fine. I'm good with it. But yeah, it's interesting. I got one more quarter left. That's right. Only one more Washington. That's who's on a quarter, right? I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense to me. Now you see why I'm taking an extra year. Yeah, I definitely need it. Ooh. But you know what I saw this week? I saw and ooh, this might be you because I'm pretty. I think I just between us, just it doesn't leave this room. I think I saw you. You know who I'm talking about. If this is you, I saw a bike with Christmas lights on it. Very cool. If that's you, if that was you that I saw, very cool. Dopest shit ever. But that got me thinking. Wait, yeah, people putting stuff on their transportation. Like Christmas decorations, holiday decorations. And it reminded me, oh yeah, this is that time of the year when people put reindeer antlers and a reindeer, the red nose on their car. And I'm like, all right, that's already a bold choice because you're declaring yourself Rudolph, the most important reindeer. And I'm like, you're Prancer at best. Okay, bud? Just easy up. But I look at those and I don't know how you can do that. Like the bike with the lights, very cool. I respect you so much for doing something like that. It looks so dope. But when you reindeer up your own car, especially if it's like a smaller car, it makes your car look like a hamster. And I know hamsters don't have antlers, but it just looks like a little pet, and it's ridiculous to me. It got me thinking, wait, how do you do that? And like expect respect. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't imagine someone going to like a job and then them getting out of their car and their coworkers like, "Hey, Brian, what's is that your car right there? Oh, yeah, that's that Prius with the antlers. That's me. Ah, cool. Yeah, no, when'd you put those on? Oh, pretty much day after Thanksgiving. Cool. Nice. And then Brian says, so we're getting lunch still today, right? He's like, no, you know what? I have a meeting that came up. It's unfortunate, really. Cool. And then someone that knows Brian doesn't know what just happened, so they come up and they're like, Brian, we're still on for lunch, right? And we're going with the whole team. And then Brian's like, just shut the fuck up. They want this jackass to hear it. Got fucking antlers on his car. But yeah, I just can't imagine, like, if you have those on your car and you go to work, you probably do that thing where you park in the overflow lot because you don't want anyone to see that. And then when you, like, walk all the way through the parking lot. You get in and you're sweaty, and someone's like, "Oh, two questions. Why are you first sweaty and second late?" And then you just got to make some shit up where it's like, "Oh, I bike to work now." And they're like, "Don't you live like 40 minutes away?" Yeah, I know. Kind of a miracle that I'm only this sweaty. A Christmas miracle, I guess you could say. And they're like, "Cool. So where's your helmet?" And you're like, "Oh, my helmet. I must have left it outside with the bike." And they're like, "Wow, I didn't know you biked. I'm actually trying to get more into biking. Can we maybe meet up after work? I'd love to take a look at your bike and see what you recommend." And then you gotta like sneak out of work early or like stay in the bathroom at the end of the day so they leave and they're like, "Huh, I guess he's not coming. Gotta get home to dinner, so I should just probably take off." But then the next day you gotta go to like Walmart and you gotta buy a helmet, and then every day you gotta walk in with a helmet and sweaty. Or get this, you could just now put antlers on your fucking car and you can park in the normal lot like a normal person. I just can't imagine like you have to be like the lowest level of an employee like at a company to put antlers on your car, right? Because you can't be a boss of someone and like have one of your like employees that like you manage like see you get out of that. I don't it creates a whole different like dynamic. It's like have you ever seen an adult do some real embarrassing shit and then immediately all their authority goes out the window? Actually, Key and Peele, they made a sketch about this, right? Peele comes in as a substitute teacher and the class is real rowdy. And he gets up there and like writes his name on the board and he said, "I'm your professor whatever." And I think he farts, right? And then the whole class laughs and they start like throwing paper and he just like packs his stuff up and leaves without a word because he knows right when he farted, he's like, I will never be able to get the reins on this class ever again. Like any control I had, it's gone. I lost it. And so I think it's the same thing. Like you can't have antlers on your car and a red nose. Like a manager, sure, I get the red nose part because they're the manager. They can be Rudolph. But like just to even be a reindeer and be a manager, I mean, Nick, come on. You like I could be nervous going into work. Like oh my God, am I going to ask for that raise? I don't know. No, I don't deserve it. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to be that guy. I shouldn't ask. I make enough. I make what I should. Yeah. And then you kind of look over and you're like, "Oh, Mr. Manager, is that you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, hey Garv." And I'm like, "Hey, oh my God, is that your car?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, festive. You like it, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." But on the inside, I'd be like, "You know what? I'm gonna ask for that raise." I suddenly this manager that I'm intimidated by. You know what? I think he actually should pay me more money. Yeah, the guy that just walked out of a sedan with antlers, I think he should probably be paying me more for the work I do. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know the person that could get away with that. You know who? Actually, the fun teacher. The fun teacher everyone already respects. They can get away with that shit. That is really, I mean, there's a small group of people, an elite few that can. I think if you're the fun teacher, yeah, because that bolsters the respect that you receive, really. Once you do stuff like that, it's an interesting dynamic. If you're a teacher that's not liked, if you do that, you are not liked even more. But if you're a teacher that's liked and you have antlers on your car, you are liked even more. It's kind of like, when popular kids do something. Or like, that's why like celebrities, they can set trends. And we're like, "Oh, that's the shit." But then if someone's not a celebrity and they try that, we're like, "Well, that is shit." In the same way, yeah. Some people can do stuff and it makes their situation even better. Like it's essentially the rich get richer. Like the well-liked get even more well-liked. But if you are not well-liked, do not even step close. Don't even park next to someone with antlers. Because chances are, if they're confident enough to do that, they're cool, you shouldn't be near them. They're going to make you look even less cool. You've heard that, surround yourself with your ugly friends so you look even better. See, I went the complete opposite route. I just don't surround myself with anyone. And then people just ignore me. It's great. I don't even go. Actually, you know what? I take it a step further. I don't go outside. Then no one can tell me what I look like or have a judgment about me. You know. But yeah, we're in the holiday season. We're in the thick of it. That's right. And fall quarter's over. It's weird. I went to 2 days ago. I went to a graduation party. It was a graduation, half birthday. And I remember one guy that was there was like, man, I just finished my finals like 3 hours ago. I was like, oh shit, yeah, huh? It's finals week. He was like, did you not? I was like, I finished on Tuesday. He was like, fuck you. I was like, yeah, I agree. Yeah. I should, you know what, just to be in solace with you, I should have just lied and said like, oh, Thursday. Yeah, I'm still trying to get over it myself. But no, I told the truth. And I do agree. I'm an asshole for that. I should have lied. But what's in my notes? You know, I think I had some stuff written down. Oh yeah, actually, you know, with the vaccine also, it got me thinking, wait, what about those people that laminated their vaccination cards? They're going to get there and they're going to give it because you take the same one with the first and second dose and you give it to them so they can like mark the third one. But if you laminated it, you know, like on mine, they wrote in pen and there was like a sticker with the location, I think. And then if you have a laminated one, you give it to them and you're like, laminated. I know. I went above and beyond. And they're like, right. Okay. Well, that's good that you did that. But we can't write on this now. It's like, oh, did I do too good of a job? They're like, no, that's one way you can look at it, sure, but that's not what, it was bad. It was bad in this case. You shouldn't have done that. And then they were like, oh, okay. This is like when what is it? The teacher like assigns extra credit problems. And they're like, if you do these, you'll get extra credit. And then the next day you come in and they're like, yeah, actually, we're not going to do the extra credit. But then you work through all of them. It's the same thing. You're like, I laminated it. And they're like, yeah, but that's not, it actually doesn't count for anything now. Actually, it hurts you. That's actually, you know what, if you did the extra credit and then you came back and the teacher was like, oh, by the way, if you did the extra credit, just forget all that. That was like the old way of doing things. Like that same methodology or strategy to go about those problems. It was proven wrong. Like you shouldn't actually approach any problem that way. So if you did that, it actually kind of try as hard as you can to unlearn it. Yeah. That's what laminating your card is like. It like was, I know you went above and beyond, but it's actually going to hurt you. So you shouldn't have done that. But what else is in my notes? I had a note that I remember. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, these are two things. We have about 12 minutes left. I have I have a bunch of things, but these two things I like. I've noticed all my recommended content on Instagram is work-related humor, which is extremely upsetting because that confirms that, yes, I'm getting older. Because the algorithm, it's smart. It's like, I know what you like now. You're not a kid. Like, you don't care about video game jokes or like pop culture or anything. Let's give you overused work humor and you're going to eat that shit up. And the sad part is I do sometimes. Like, I watch these things that make fun of, like, recurring tropes in the workplace. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's, yeah, people that sign their emails that way. Uh-huh. Yep, people that are in meetings. Yep, I know. I see that. And I fucking eat it up. And I hate it because it just reaffirms that lurking suspicion that I'm getting older. I'm still suspicious. That's right. It's not confirmed yet in my brain. I'm just like, maybe I am. I don't know. Time is, a never-ending march forward that you can't stop. But you can still lie to yourself and be like, no, I still am the same way that I was. Like in this time that I've described this, I've aged. We've all aged. I'm sorry, but we have. It's sad to think about. Or it can be happy. Nope, it's only sad. People that are like, you should look forward to getting older. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I know, okay, you're doing that thing, right? What is it? Like positivity therapy or whatever? That's not what it is. But it's like when you just lie to yourself and you're like, this is good. Everything that's happening to me is good. And if I keep saying that, it will be. And I think there's truth to that. But I think there's something really funny about looking at something, I guess from a cynical point of view. Like, I care more about the humor of it, so then I think that's why I go more cynical. But if you're trying to have a better quality of life, I think you should just try to be happier. But I'm not in it. I'm not in this to have a good time. In this to have a fun time. That's right. They're different things. Yes. But I've noticed that it's so shitty. Like the whole page, they all the like little panels look the same. I'm like, ah, damn it. You start seeing those like creators that are in their like early 20s, and companies love them because they're like, hey, look at you. You know how to work a camera and edit, and you have like a smidgen of humor. So this is great. This is you're brand friendly. We love this. And then they just make the same jokes where it's like the person on Zoom that like still dresses up, or the person on Zoom that is always has to get a word in, and so the whole meeting they're like, "Yep, yep, oop, I hear ya, I hear ya," or the person that always has to get in, like if they didn't talk the whole meeting, they still have to add something. So then they imitate that person. They're like, "Yeah, going off of Jessica's point, I actually want to add something on top of that I agree, and I think this is a good way that we should be going." And they're like, "Okay, so that added nothing to the meeting." I mean, it could, because if more people are saying, yes, this is the way we should be going, then you have more confidence going that way. But a lot of the time it's like, we've already made the decision. You don't need to say that. But they say it because they're like, I want to have a presence on this team. So yeah, I don't know. You see it, like, I think that's what's so shitty, because I've noticed a lot of humor gets a pass, or like a lot of jokes get a pass on being funny because they're just relatable. Like, I feel like a lot of things aren't that funny, but if you can relate to them, it doesn't have to be that funny. If you can just, relate with someone, I think that gives a lot of points. Or else you have to like overcompensate with the funniness if it's not relatable. Even then, you have to find a little like a something to connect with the audience on, or else it's not gonna work. But I think some people play into the relatability of it too much, and then I'm like, this is corny shit. But then I still watch it. So 7 different types of people on a Zoom call. I'm like, this is gonna suck, but I want to watch the whole thing. And then I'm gonna watch it and be like, yeah, that's true. 2 of them might be a little exaggerated, but the other 5, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I see that. Yeah, they get it. I'm not alone in this world. They get it too. And then you start to realize, wait a minute, which one of those people am I? Yeah, you gotta look inward. Then it gets introspective, and then I want to delete every app on my phone, right? And I want to throw the phone hot fire, but then you're like, that's gonna destroy the environment, right? You can't burn a phone. It's gonna blow up. Anyways, I what am I saying? We got 6 more minutes, and then what's the other thing that was on my list? Oh yeah. You know the phrase, right? Guess Christmas came early, huh? And people always use that just any time, but I guess people use it more as we get closer to Christmas. Like, using that in February, it seems a little like out of place. Like, to be 10 months out and being like, I guess it came early. Whoa, man, easy. That's so fast. That's like on the second date, you're like, we should move in together. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, don't do that. Same way, don't make those jokes in February. Jesus. Don't you have Valentine's Day to focus on? Oh, and you don't because you're alone? Yeah, I wonder why. Because you're making jokes like that. Jesus. Anyways. Yeah, people are starting to say it more and more, I notice, near the end of the year. They're like, guess Christmas came early. And I can only imagine, like, it got me thinking about the people that work, like, retail, like, in a cash register, at, like, a Kohl's or whatever. And then you always get those customers, right? They're like, well, the cashier's like, you got a coupon? Are you part of our member? Are you a member in our rewards program or whatever? And they're like, no. But you got any coupons for me? It's like, no, that's not, I mean, you have them or you don't. I'm not going to. Fine. Okay, I have one for you. It's 20% off. I'll scan it for you. It's universal. This makes you guys like us and come back. So it actually is going to pay for itself. But don't think you can keep getting away with this. And then the customer has the audacity to say, as you scan it, Customer has the audacity to say, huh, I guess Christmas came early. It's like, I can unscan this. I can press no, okay? I can see that little trash icon next to the item. I can delete it. This 20% that I just gave you, yeah, I can add it right back on, okay? And I can't imagine how many times people in retail probably get these canned jokes. I feel bad. I feel bad around this time, not because people are like trampling each other to get in stores and whatever, but just because of the jokes they have to act like they're funny. Like, I don't know if I actually would be strong enough to do that. Like, for someone to be like, I'm even getting upset just thinking about it. uh, because I guess I've seen people do this, and I'm like, oh, this is like, you get the total, and then the person's like a 53.47, and the customer has the audacity to be like, oh, and what about the 10% discount? And they're like, what? What do you? Oh, okay. And they're like, come on, I know you. We know each other. We have a little rapport now. How about a little 10%? They're like, why do you think that's going to work? Why, it's always the least charming people that think they have the most charm. You ever notice that? Hey, come on, throw your boy a 10%. Why would I do that? You just asked me if I'm pregnant. Which is like more of a comment on my weight because I'm a guy. I can't even be pregnant. So you were just being rude. You just found a loophole to point it out. Yeah, that guy's got kind of a gut. But he's a guy. How can I point this out to him? I'll ask him if he's pregnant. But yeah, guys can't have babies, so what's up with that? Guess Christmas came early. No, it didn't. It's still on the 25th. Okay? Except Christmas is going to be better because I don't have to be around you and hear your stupid fucking jokes. Yeah, man. Retail. Those are the real soldiers. We should be giving them Mustangs for their service. Jesus. But yeah, it's December 12th. Well, this will be up the 13th. And yeah, I'm not going to make any more promises about like when a video is going to be out. I keep doing that and it never works out. I said like 3 weeks ago, oh yeah, for sure, a video this week. And look, I didn't even make a podcast for 2 weeks. So I'm not going to make any promises. Just know I'm working on stuff. I'm pretty proud of some stuff I'm working on. Not all of it, some stuff I'm ashamed of. No, but I'm pretty proud of like most of the stuff I'm working on. And, yeah, just trying to, now that school's kind of wrapped up, I'm still working, but trying to make more time to like edit and make videos because that's what I have fun doing. So yeah, I'm not going to tell you when a new video is going to be out. Just know I'm working on videos. Okay. And yeah, next week, it's weird because this is episode 50, but next week I think is like the year anniversary of this thing. So it'll be episode 51. So it won't be like episode 52 because, 52 weeks in a year. But I think I'll still next week, I'll do the, happy 1 year of this podcast. So if you've been listening, whenever you started listening to this, I just want to say thank you. I'll go over that. We'll cover that in next week's lesson. But I just want to say, a little preemptive thank you for listening to this podcast. And, however long you've been listening, it's been great this first year. I've definitely learned a lot. I have plans for next year. I don't plan on like stopping this anytime soon, but I have plans to I think make it better. So that's exciting, but I don't want to say anything for sure, because I've said that in the past and then it's all lies. It's all lies, So I'm just going to say I'm optimistic. Wow, that's pretty rare, right? I'm optimistic about this podcast, but not that relationship of that girl I went to high school with. I'm rooting for him. And I'll leave it at that. I'll talk at you next week, okay? Bye.